Hello, today we'll discuss with thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, we can see that this is a structure which is located just below the sound box, that is the larynx. It has two lobes and it is connected by a short connective tissue which we call as isthmus. And the thyroid gland is very vascular organ and it is being innervated by the two branches of nervous system, autonomous nervous system. And we can see that this lobe is made up of thyroid follicles, and the thyroid follicles are responsible to release the thyroid hormone. Whereas in between the thyroid follicle there will be some cells that is between para or near to, those we call it as parafollicular cells, which also have the endocrine function to release some hormones. So we'll come back to the thyroid hormone. As I said, the follicular cells are responsible to release the thyroid hormones. There are mainly two types, that is T3 and T4. T3, in which is otherwise known as triiodothyronine, it is made up of 3 iodine atoms, whereas the other one, which is the major one, which we call it as thyroxine, and it has 4 iodine atoms, and both of them are known to increase, if we generally speak, they are known to increase the basal metabolic rate. They stimulate protein synthesis, increase the use of glucose and fatty acids, and for the formation of ATP. And the other cells, the parafollicular cells, are responsible to release the hormone calcitonin, and the function is known to be to lower the blood calcium of the body by inhibiting the calcium resorption. Now, when we speak about the, when we compare with the T3 and T4, we can see that the active hormone of the gland is always the thyroxine, and about 91% of the metabolically active hormones which is released by the thyroid gland is thyroxine, whereas only 7% is being the triiodothyronine, and the functions of the two hormones are qualitatively the same. When we speak about the quality function, both have this almost the same function, but they differ. The function will be the same, but then they differ in the rapidity and the intensity of action. We could see that the triiodothyronine is more potent, more active than the thyroxine, but it is present in the blood in much smaller quantity, very little quantity, and it have a very short lifespan, that it persists in the body for a very short time than when compared to thyroxine. And both of this, when comes to its origin, require iodine, and we can see that thyroid hormone secretion is regulated by negative feedback mechanism that involves the amount of thyroid hormone, the hormones released from the hypothalamus and the adenohypophysis. We'll be discussing it towards the end. And coming back to the function of thyroid gland secretes hormones which regulate many processes, which include affect the growth and the energy expenditure of the body. And we can see that all the cells in the body respond to thyroxine, and the most important function of thyroxine is to stimulate the rate of cellular metabolism, regulating resulting in the generation of more heat energy, that is it results in increase in the metabolic rate. Second one is that thyroxine is essential for the differentiation of the tissues for growth and skeletal maturation, and whereas in the case of amphibians, it is the one which is responsible for the metamorphosis, that is the conversion of a larva to an adult frog. And we can see that it is also responsible for the elimination of excess water. That means it leads lots of urine, dilute urine, so that condition we call it as diuresis. And we already know it enhances the basal metabolic rate, and it is said that when there is an increased amount of thyroxine in the system, which causes the depletion of ATP level, which in turn adversely affect muscle activity. More the thyroid hormone, more there will be a glucose utilization, that is more and more glucose will be utilized for breaking down into ATP. So more and more reserves of glucose plus the lipid reserves will be utilized. Calcitonin is another hormone secreted by the parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland, and this hormone opposes the action of the parathyroid gland, which we'll be discussing in the next class, by reducing the calcium level in the blood. And if blood calcium level becomes too high, calcitonin will be secreted until the calcium level is brought to a normal. So now we'll discuss about the disorders related with thyroid gland. The first one, which is very common to us, that is simple goiter or iodine deficiency goiter. If there is an iodine deficiency, the thyroid cannot make sufficient amount of thyroid hormone. Even if there is a demand from the body, it will not able to produce the hormone. So this stimulates the anterior pituitary to secrete thyroid stimulating hormone, which causes the thyroid gland to increase in size in vain in attempting to release more and more hormone. Simply speaking, there will be more demand for the thyroid hormones, and the factory which release thyroid hormone is the thyroid gland, that is for sure, and we know that where it is being located. And since the body is in need of thyroid hormone, the anterior pituitary will give information to the thyroid gland that more through some signal, that is through hormone, that is thyroid stimulating hormone. It will give information that please release more and more thyroid hormone. But the thyroid gland, since there is no raw material, we know that the raw material for the synthesis of this hormone is iodine. So one of the those raw material is absent. Since it is absent, even though the raw material is absent, there is more demand. So the factory go on working. It will go on working and working without any result, and this over stimulation of the gland will cause its enlargement, and we call it as the simple goiter or iodine deficiency goiter. Second problem with thyroid gland is that it is hyperthyroidism, which as the name indicates, hyper, that means overactive thyroid, and that means there is a too much release of both the hormone T3, T4 into the bloodstream, excess than the normal demand of the body. And this condition, as we know, leads to one of the disease related to this condition is Graves' disease or exophthalmic goiter. As the picture shows, there is a bulging of the eyeballs, which causes the eye to be in an open wide condition, and there is a enlargement of thyroid gland for sure, and there is a, since hormone is increasing, there will be increased metabolic rate, more and more energy reserves will be utilized, so there will be weight loss, there will be nervousness, there will be rapid pulse related to this condition. Next is hypothyroidism. Here we can see that here it is a just opposite to hyper. It is the hypo, that is underactivity of hypothyroid gland, which release little T4 and T3, and this causes a metabolism to slow down too much. And hypothyroidism at birth results in a condition known as cretinism, which is characterized by the retarded growth, low intelligence, delayed sexual maturity. Whereas in adult, if the condition hypothyroidism comes during the adult stage, it leads to a condition known as myxedema. Here also we can see there is a sluggish feature. Mental dullness could be seen, low metabolic rate will be seen, dry coarse skin will be seen, puffy face will be seen. You could see that the picture shows the puffy face, dull face. There is a edema just below the eye. Lateral eyebrows are very thin, and hair is dry, coarse and sparse. Whereas in the babies, when it is come from the birth, you could see that there is a protruding trunk, bulged, pot-bellied condition, and the umbilical cord that umbilicus is also being a protruding condition. Their body is pale in condition, puffy face could be seen. And here just show the picture. You could see this is the thyroid gland, butterfly structure, and here we can see this is placed just below the larynx, and this is the connection, we call it as isthmus. And if I take a cross section, I could see this type of follicles, and in between the follicle there will be parafollicular cells which is responsible to release the calcitonin. And how is it being controlled? We can see that there is a direct control from hypothalamus by the release of hormone. We have you may be knowing that the hormones released by the hypothalamus is the releasing hormone, that is thyrotropin, and specifically here in this case it will be thyrotropin releasing hormone TRH from the hypothalamus, and that goes and gives information to anterior pituitary to release the stimulating hormone. And here specifically to this condition it is thyroid stimulating hormone. And TSH is the one which goes and bind to the thyroid gland onto the receptor and give information to the thyroid gland to release T3 and T4, which are the thyroid hormones. So here we can see when there is a shortage of T3, T4 in the blood, negative feedback system we have already said, it gives information to the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus will start producing the releasing hormones, the thyrotropin releasing hormone. Why we are calling it as thyrotropin releasing hormone and not thyroid releasing hormone? Because this next one is this TRH is activating the hormone known as TSH, stimulating hormone from the anterior pituitary, and another name of this TSH is thyrotropin. So since it is this hormone from the hypothalamus is responsible to release thyrotropin, or the another name is TSH from the anterior pituitary, this hormone is better being given as a name as TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone. And when TRH come and give information to the anterior pituitary, it releases thyrotropin, that is TSH, and this TSH will move on to the thyroid gland, where it moves and binds to the thyroid and give information to the follicular cells to release T3 and T4, and this T3, T4 released into the blood by the follicular cells. So this is the condition, and when it is being elevated, it gives information to the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary to stop producing thyrotropin releasing hormone and TSH. Thank you.